So just how good is the brand new Ugin Planeswalker? So Ugin's a 7-mana Planeswalker that's colorless. It allows you to blow something up when you cast it, blow up more things when you cast other things, gains you life, draws cards, makes mana, and has a crazy ultimate that basically searches your library for an infinite number of powerful things. Oh yeah, and then casts all of them for free. So how does it stack up to the other really big, powerful colorless Planeswalkers we've seen over the years? Let's start with the most obvious place, Classic Ugin, which costs 1 more mana at 8, same loyalty at 7, doesn't have any kind of enters the battlefield trigger, has a plus to do a lightning bolt, a minus to wrath a board, and then a -10 that effectively is a similar level of win the game ultimate, right? But if we're being honest, most Planeswalkers have kind of a win the game level of ultimate, so it's really those first couple abilities that matter. Right off the bat, even though this does cost 1 more mana, being able to make mana or draw cards and gain life doesn't really compare to being able to wrath the board, right? Now, the new one does come into play and actually destroy something right away, which this one doesn't have, right? Ugin the Spirit Dragon only lightning bolts, which is definitely not as good as the minus ability on the original Ugin. If we compare this to Karn Liberated, which is a 7-mana colorless Planeswalker and kind of the original big beater, not as good as 8-mana Ugin, but again, 7 versus 8 does matter, especially when Tron lands are going to cast a 7-drop on turn 3, and they won't cast an 8-drop, right? So this has 6 loyalty, does also have the ability to remove something, right? Like the second ability here gets to exile something. The plus gets something out of somebody's hand, and then, you know, the ultimate takes several turns. So when comparing this to the other gigantic colorless Planeswalkers, I would say so far right off the bat, I think Ugin Eye of the Storms might be the best one. I do think the Wrath on original Ugin is pretty impressive, but, you know, this is pretty good. Be sure to hit that follow button if you guys like Magic spoilers and talk about the new set. I'll be doing a whole bunch of that stuff. Now, where I think the biggest trap on this card lies is the fact that gaining life and drawing cards is good and adding mana is good, but if you're casting a 7-drop, the mana is probably less important than we'd think, right? And drawing 1 card per turn, there's a lot of things that don't cost 7 that do that. The life is incidental. It's the fact that when you cast this, it blows something up, and then when you cast another colorless thing can blow another thing up that really pushes this card into the stratosphere. It's just doing a lot for a little, and I think the margins of what make this card so powerful are just very, very, very pronounced. Final opinion, the new Ugin is kind of nuts.